Attempted one night to shoot her when she wasn't looking. He had the gun behind her head, and then when he went to go pull the trigger, the gun actually jammed, and that freaked him out enough for that night to not continue. But unfortunately, the very next night he tried again, and this time he was successful. After shooting her, he would spend the next couple of days doing the most disgusting, heinous things to this woman's body. But the first thing that he did was take a knife and cut off a piece of her butt and pop it in his mouth raw to finally taste flesh for the first time. He described this moment as a historical moment for him. He proceeded to cut up her whole body and try to cook it in all different ways. He would try boiling it, frying it, grilling it, and he would eat it with all different types of condiments just to kind of experiment and see which way tasted the best. Also cut off a bunch of pieces and put it in the freezer to preserve it because he knew that eventually he would have to get rid of her body. He even tried to eat some of her organs, but he said he did not like the taste of the organs. As he was doing this, he would talk to her body and profess his love for her while listening to recordings he had of her voice. After a few days, her body started to rot and flies were coming around it, and he knew that it was time to get rid of the body, so he placed the body parts, the remaining body parts, in 2 suitcases, and then he called a cab to come and pick him up. These bags were so heavy that he was visibly struggling, and the cab driver even said, "What do you have in there, a dead body?" To which he replied that it was just a bunch of books. He was to put the suitcases in a lake in a popular park in Paris. He was struggling to get the suitcases to the body of water, and people were seeing this. It was broad daylight. It was a very populated park. There was so many people around. 2 people ended up seeing it and thought it was suspicious, so they asked him, like, "Are these your suitcases?" And he said no for whatever reason. So they ended up opening the suitcases, and obviously they found the remains of Renee Hartfelt, and they called the police immediately. However, Issei was able to slip away somehow, so he didn't end up getting arrested for 4 more days. You would think with the witnesses to this crime, and then also all the heinous discoveries the police made in his home, that he would be immediately tried and put away for the rest of his life, but that is the exact opposite of what happened. They ended up deciding that he was not fit to stand trial because he was mentally ill, so he was just put in a psych ward. However, later on in 1986, he was deported back to Japan, and because of discrepancies in the law between France and Japan, he ended up getting off scot-free. Only ended up serving 2 years for the murder of Renee Hartfelt. He was let free the time that he was released in 1986 until he passed away in 2022. There are so many more details to this case that I wasn't able to put in this video, so if you're interested in hearing that, then you can go and listen to my podcast, The Demon Den. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.